All right, everyone, first things first, we will not be discussing any spoilers for Tears of the Kingdom in this video. Yes, many people have picked up the game and are now playing through it, but you may be at different points within the game depending on how much free time you've been able to set aside to progress in the story, so none of that will be discussed. But what we do have to discuss in today's video is Tears of the Kingdom truly doing the unthinkable. Yes, there's been a lot of expectations around how this game would release and ultimately review. We now know it sits at a 96 on Metacritic, which is just 1 point beneath Breath of the Wild and sits amongst the highest reviewed games of all time, period. As 96 plus is not handed out very frequently on Metacritic, and we now have a glimpse at the sales trajectory that this game is on, because over in the UK they have an extremely fast turnaround time when it comes to units being sold, specifically on the retail boxed launch side of things, as you have to rely on Nintendo to communicate digital sales numbers, and they may or may not even do that for Tears of the Kingdom depending on the kind of milestones it hits. But we now have a first glimpse of how this game is trending, and it is by far and away the most successful game launch of 2023, even beating out Hogwarts Legacy, a massive multi-platform game, by over 50% in sales. And in today's video, we need to discuss all of those details and talk about what this really means for the larger picture of Zelda and future 3D installments going forward. What's up, nation? Hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on your bell notification if you haven't already. And as mentioned, guys, in today's video, we are discussing some monumental sales data that's hitting from the UK, suggesting that yes, indeed, not only is this the best, most successful game launch in 2023, it's that by a lot. And to first get on the same page with all of the details of what's been spotted here surrounding the sales data, let's quickly hop over to VGC and read through their detailed typed up article together. Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is by far the UK's biggest box launch of 2023. Nintendo's blockbuster managed over 50% higher box sales than Hogwarts Legacy. According to GfK figures shared by the head of GameIndustries.biz, Christopher Dring, Zelda Tears of the Kingdom sold 54% higher than Hogwarts Legacy, the other large release of 2023. At the time of writing, it's the fourth biggest Zelda game ever in terms of revenue in the UK. Nintendo do not share digital sales data, so it's not an entirely clear picture of the overall success of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom due to the higher adoption of digital downloads. You can then see the following tweet from Christopher Dring himself, where he says, in the UK, after just 2 days, The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is already the 8th biggest Zelda game of all time. It's already outsold Skyward Sword, The Wind Waker, and A Link Between Worlds. This is just based on box sales alone, GfK figures. On the Hogwarts Legacy comparison, it's worth noting that Hogwarts Legacy launched on PS5, Xbox Series, and PC earlier in the year and late last month on last generation consoles, while Zelda is a Switch exclusive. Zelda Tears of the Kingdom isn't quite the biggest UK Switch launch, reportedly managing less than Pokemon Scarlet and Violet did when it was released last year. Now it's going to be fascinating to see if we do indeed get any kind of digital figures and a all-in type of number from Nintendo, because they did take to the internet to actually mention Scarlet and Violet with how successful it was overall from a sales perspective that they felt the need to shout it out. Zelda may not hit those type of numbers, primarily due to the fact that Scarlet and Violet is one of those games that you would essentially purchase two and they would count as individual copies, and you know a lot of the hardcore Pokemon base out there will pick up a double pack, so they have access to all of the various different Pokemon within each version. If you're a 100% completionist, a lot of people do that. That is definitely a portion of the success that game saw in terms of total unit sales, and obviously that's not going to be something that would translate over to Tears of the Kingdom. What will be really interesting to monitor, though, is if this does indeed become the best Legend of Zelda game in terms of sales, period. Breath of the Wild holds that record today. It is nearly 30 million copies sold, and that is obviously a huge win in the Legend of Zelda franchise. That is the kind of trajectory that you want to see the franchise take on, because Skyward Sword did not perform that well. We had big smash hit successes with games like Ocarina of Time and Twilight Princess, but you did actually see Some entries within the franchise perform more within that 3 to 5 million range, which is not a flop by any means, but you want a higher sales rate than that when you consider how much money and development time is being poured into mainline 3D Zeldas. So for the franchise to continue to grow and continue to see additional masterpieces like this one in 5, 6, or even 7 years, however long it takes them to develop the next one in the future, you want to have this game perform extremely well. And this is one of the first pieces of official information that we can say is a very good sign objectively overall for this game. Now, the other interesting thing is that Breath of the Wild was a game that was released at the launch of the Nintendo Switch, which in turn meant anybody that went to go to the store to purchase a Switch at launch day was likely picking up Breath of the Wild as well. That game helped propel the sales of the console due to its success, and its commercial mainstream praise helped launch that game off like we've never seen a Zelda game do before it. And now with Tears of the Kingdom, on the other hand, the Switch is a mature platform. It's been available for a full 6+ years now, and of the 125 million units out there, a lot of people already have a very deep library of games, and they may or may not choose to pick up this blockbuster title, but it seems like people are picking it up at a alarming rate, and definitely the most successful of 2023 so far. And I think that that is a great news scenario for the larger conversation of what we see Zelda turn into from here. I do tend to think that every 5 to 6 years, we will likely see this type of open world, open exploration based Zelda title. And I hope that in addition to those games that we also get ports and remasters that are not yet playable on the Switch, like Twilight Princess and Wind Waker. Not to mention, I think that some of the DS and 3DS titles deserve to come over as well with a standalone remaster treatment given. In addition to that, I would love to have the handheld style Zelda make a return, but have an entirely new concept attached to it, make it more of the linear standard style Zelda game that you would have developed for a DS or 3DS if you still had a handheld console being sold from Nintendo, but make that for the Switch. It could be 2D or 3D, but I think that there's a world where traditional old school Zelda games can sell alongside of these massive open world experiences that clearly take quite a bit longer to develop and quite a few more dollars at that to invest into the game to make it become a finished product. I think there is a world where both can perform alongside each other, and I think Tears of the Kingdom is soaring off to be the exact kind of commercial success that Nintendo wanted it to be, and that is great news for Zelda fans out there. I personally, at about 20 hours into the game right now, am totally in love with this thing. I think that it is an incredible masterpiece of a game through and through. It took everything that Breath of the Wild established for open world style Zelda games, and it has enhanced it in literally every way, shape, and form, in my personal opinion so far. And I can't wait to figure out more of what's going on with the deeper story and plot. And if you're worried that this game isn't going to be a big enough adventure or take up enough of your time, I can assure you, don't worry about that. I won't reveal what I've learned as far as the size and scope of the game, but you will have a ton to go through. I can definitely strongly urge you to go pick up and play the game. You won't regret it, even though it is Nintendo's first ever $70 Nintendo Switch release. I do think that it warrants that price tag, and you can easily hit 100 hours plus on your first playthrough in this adventure and likely enjoy every minute of it along the way. But I want to hear from you guys at this point in the video, your personal thoughts and opinions on this brand new UK box sales data. Do you think that this game is indeed pacing to outsell Breath of the Wild? And do you think we might even see some kind of official confirmation from Nintendo around how it's performed as a whole in terms of box plus digital sales? Or do you think we will have to go off of just these individual retail numbers around the world for a while until maybe something like the next quarterly financial briefing? And also, if you are playing through Tears of the Kingdom right now, let me know how much you're enjoying the game. Do you like the direction it is unfolding in so far? Are you a fan of the story thus far? Because just right out of the gate, it blew my expectations out of the water, and every single portion of the story that I've seen through cutscenes as I uncover them has also been incredibly enjoyable. And bonus question, how long do you think it will be before we see the next mainline Zelda title? And are you like me and would like to see some traditional linear style games that are brand new from the ground up, developed alongside of mainline 3D ones that are essentially a smaller scope of a project than this giant 3D open world type of experience that we see with Tears of the Kingdom today. So regardless of your thoughts and feelings on everything we talked about today, I do look forward to hearing from you all in the comments down below before you leave the video, as I do look forward to getting a back and forth conversation started with you all around this topic. Go watch yesterday's video next if you haven't already, which is on screen right now. Also make sure you like, subscribe, turn on your notification bell, and I will see you guys in the next video.